What does community justice mean to you?
So, as I spoke about in terms of understanding stigma, it's that acknowledgement that someone who's offended takes responsibility for that behaviour, and in doing so addresses the offending behaviour and gives back to the community in a number of ways to be part of that restorative approach. And that could be very much, for example, unpaid work, undertaking a number of community activities that benefit the community through unpaid work. It could be addressing poverty and working in that anti-poverty space by supporting charity shops, food banks. It could be a whole range of things that are very important to the community, but also can build a sense of self-worth and self-esteem for the individual, because we do know when people are connected to their community and they don't necessarily feel that sense of stigma and shame that we spoke about earlier, it's certainly, there's a sensitivity around it. We know that if they can contribute in that way and we can support and scaffold that, we know that that can significantly reduce the risk of reoffending. And that lens there, therefore, looks at this individual in their family, in their community, and the victims, but looks at how they can scaffold and support some of the broader needs, whether that be about housing, poverty, mental health, addiction issues. And that's not to say everyone who enters the justice system has these issues. My key point is taking that community justice lens and that restoring and giving back, and it is about that person's growth in the most holistic way across a range of, and that's why this issue of stigma is so important, because we need those other services to see that person beyond the label and the offence that they may have committed. Because we know with strong community justice approaches, we know the evidence is there to say if they're in place with that holistic approach, seeing the individual, yes, managing the risk and holding to account and all of that, we know that you can drastically reduce reoffending. I would want to add to that the importance of recognising the victim and making sure that any work we're doing in the community justice sphere, I spoke about, we learn from those who are in the justice system who may have committed an offence and what has helped them get their life back on track and put that behind them. But we also need to learn from the victims and listen to the victims and listen to the survivors as to what supports them and helps them. And I suppose really taking that trauma-informed lens. So it's thinking about this in the broadest sense, from the person who may have committed the offence, who's trying to, and we're trying to support them to move on, the victim and their families and the survivors and what helps them, and of course the broader community. And if we're holding, that triangle, I suppose, those 3 points in balance through a really strong community justice offer, I think the potential to support everybody is really impactful.